get started.
Can everybody stand so we can say the pledge of allegiance?
No, that's a Civil Air Patrol. Okay, we're going to get started here. This is the September 2016 March Aero Club Safety Meeting. And welcome. I'm Roger Mann, the Safety Officer. Bob Pierce, most of you should know unless you're totally brand new and don't know who anybody is, but Bob Pierce is our manager. And we got John Law here who's running the camera. He's our chief flight instructor. And and then we got John Reed here who's our ops officer. And if you're interested in doing the duties of a weekend duty person, he's the one to see. Not if you want to quit, though. If you want to quit, tough. You got to still stay there.
Okay. Base operations.
Yeah, right, huh? Oh, yeah, well,
Base
yeah.
ops.
Base ops.
So if you guys
Yes.
don't like what the tower's doing, you can complain again.
Yeah. Did you want to say anything tonight to us? Need to say anything that's,
Maybe at the end, sir.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. Okay, basically what we do here is that we kind of go through the meeting on a schedule, you know, and try to make it so that it's straightforward. We try to get out of here by 8 o'clock, doesn't always work, but tonight it probably should. But a lot depends on how you guys do tonight. You're not going to just sit there and be a non-participator tonight, so we'll make sure that everybody gets involved. Okay.
We all know that dependence on foreign oil is a problem, and a lot of us are doing something about it. We've cut our energy consumption and traded our gas guzzlers for hybrid cars. But isn't there more we could be doing? All across the country, pilots are joining the fight to end our addiction to foreign oil. They're carrying just enough fuel to get within gliding range of their destination. Some are even conserving by walking those last few miles. Why waste fuel when your airplane can glide to the ground using gravity and the power of the wind? It's not just for cars anymore.
I love this one, it's been great, and I love it when that girl, she just, she was kicking her. Okay, now that we introduced the Aero Club, we'll start in on our agenda. First thing we do is that we introduce new pilots, or new members rather, and let's see, I talked to a couple of people. I can't see anything when my eyes have gotten worse, and so everything's a blur to me right now. Okay, if you have not been where you stood up in this meeting before, please stand up now and introduce yourself. Now, come on.
Alex Shady. Alex Aldrich.
Yeah, I told you that we were going to It's a little more information.
I got family in the area, so I come here periodically, so I decided to join the club to fly here a bit. So I'm actually out of Hawaii, but it's a good place to fly. Nice.
Private, commercial?
Private, working on an
I mean, he lived in Hawaii for crying out loud, you know? And now he's over here tantalizing us. Okay, all right, who else? I can't see, that's new. Nobody's ever seen before. Nobody knows who they are. I'm Roger. I've been here for a couple of years. So, okay, next, new pilot rate is anybody, this includes solo flights, any of that kind of stuff. If you fly for an airline, that also includes that. I know that we've got one member who got checked out as a captain in the 737, but he's not here tonight, so. Mike Martin,
Oh, really?
yeah, he was,
Got his upgrade done?
he was, huh?
He's on his upgrade now?
Well, I don't know, he just kind of told us that that's what he was going to be doing here, you know, in the next, that was what, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago when he told us that. So, that's good news, unless you get less in pay, because I do know that some of these guys have flown like on, you know, the 767, and then they go to a 737 as a captain, and they actually go down in their pay. So, I don't know if that's the case here or not. Okay, so, nobody's had any new pilot ratings, nothing like that? Nobody's sold for the first time? Anybody? And I always repeat over again, has anybody gotten violated by the FAA? John? Has everything been okay with the airlines? Okay,
Chris got some formation rides under his belt.
okay. All right, well now see, that's what I'm talking about, you gotta, that's also
That's good.
part.
Actually, on that, we've got 3 pilots that are in the process for formation flying. We're trying to build up the group again for additional income into the club, flying the cemetery. So we're really gotten a lot of calls here of late in regards to services requirements. So Randy Ball is trying to get everybody checked back out again since he's a certified checker.
Okay,
What are the requirements? What are the requirements?
Checked out in the T-34.
Well, yeah, and it's gonna be more than just a few hours. We're looking at more than 125 hours that we have in regards to that. And then again, how much requirement we have. If we have 10 pilots, we really don't need the 10. We're gonna try and hold it around 6 to 7 pilots probably. So we have Brandon Harrison, who's done some formation flying in an RV. Chris Link, who's done some previous work in the T-34 in the past, is back in the club. And Garrett Carlson will eventually get checked out also with that, in that. And then in the ones that are still here, we have Tyler and Ward Massey, George Watson, Jerry Rollis will probably come back. It looks like he may restart the club again. He's also an instructor. And Randy Ball, and not sure about you, John, whether you're gonna try that or not.
It seems like my timing with Randy is just,
Not
I don't know, yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of where we are right now. It looks like about 8 people total to fill in the 4 airplanes. We get 4 airplanes going again.
so what is the requirement?
I'm trying to find it. It's written in the FAST guide.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's gonna be ground school, there's pilot time, you gotta,
I'll try and find it, and then I'll tell you when I find it.
yeah, you start with 2 plane, 3 plane, 4 plane. Am I right, Tyler?
Yeah.
The generic version is highly experienced in the T-34. That's the
Yep.
generic version of the So what is?
Most of the pilots are military pilots who have formation training.
Okay, here according to FAST, it says for a wing pilot, you're supposed to have your private pilot at least 350 hours total time.
250 or 350?
250 if you have a commercial certificate. 10 hours formation time within the previous 2 years, military or civilian. Complete a formal ground school conducted by an FAA recognized formation organization. That counts as Randy Ball. Current member of an FAA recognized formation organization. Most of us are in the T-34 Association. Practical test recommendation by a current lead pilot. That's going to be Randy Ball. We're probably going to use Don Ram as our check pilot.
Mike Holes up in Camarillo is also a check pilot.
Yeah.
Okay, and then successfully complete a practical test. So that's the check ride. And then
See, the Bonanza Society has their formation flights too, and that requires quite a bit of ground school, and then multiple formation flights, because the T-34 and the Bonanza are a little bit different, very similar, but it's the position of where you're going to fly in regards to each airplane. But they also have they're an official group also in regards to formation flights.
Okay, now we move on and, you can discuss that after the meeting too, if you have more questions on that. Okay, Aero Club manager's gonna try to, oh yeah, we didn't get the experiences. Anybody had a harrowing experience or anything like that that got a good story to tell? I don't see George Watson here. He usually has a good one. Okay, all right. Aero Club manager will talk to us, and then we're gonna cover no USOPs, and then we're gonna do airport signs and markings tonight, is what we're going to do. Okay. Bob,
I'm gonna try and keep it short, but I've got a lot of stuff. I'd like to discuss credit cards. Credit cards are still a big issue with Roger and I in regards to expirations. When you get a new credit card, call us immediately, because what we're gonna start doing now, if you put in a credit card to pay for a flight or for dues and it fails, we're gonna start charging you a service charge. We can't keep using the labor and the amount of time on the telephone trying to do it. We'll give you a break in some cases, but the first offense right now is $5, the second one maybe 15, or maybe even 20 bucks, just like the banks charge you. We have to take and cover this stuff. We spend all our time tracing down people to take and give us the correct number because it expired 2 months ago. We just can't keep this going. So we've had a lot of discussions in regards to this. I think the last, this particular month, we had 15 people that showed up with bad credit cards.
well, we lost $1,100 in the dues. We had that many rejects. I mean, it's the longest list I've seen yet. And $1,100 is significant, very significant. And I have to literally take my time trying to get a hold of people, and I think now it's come to the point where we're just gonna have to spend the extra money and mail out mail, because I get no answers back. I send out emails and I get nothing back. Now, that's not true with everybody. I mean, there's some people that answer back, boom, just like that. And I know who they are, and every once in a while their card will reject. But I've got a whole bunch of people who have never responded to any emails at all. And it's going on now 4 months, 5 months, and they still get, obviously their card keeps rejecting.
Are they inactive members?
Active members, yeah. But they're very quickly becoming inactive. Because I'm supposed to kick them out after the third reject, according to Air Force regulation. But I give them the benefit of the doubt. And every once in a while I do get a person 6 months later will call me up and says, oh gosh, I totally forgot and all that, and I'll give them a chance, I'll give them a break, but $1,100, I have not seen that since I've been here. $1,100 can make a difference if we're gonna go above the line or below that line at the end of the month. It sometimes does, very much so. Anyhow, I didn't mean to interrupt, but.
So right now we're holding our own for the last 2 months, and we want to try and maintain that thing, keep the general happy. For operations, we are working on the ADSB installations. As soon as I can get a response from Advantage Avionics, it looks like November is going to be the earliest time frame that we can get the first 2 aircraft complete on that, and then the next quarter will be starting in December for the next 2. So right now the schedule is to finish this up and have everything completed by the second or third quarter of 2019. And what we're going to do is we're going to input the Stratus unit, which is about $3,000 plus installation fee, and that includes the internal GPS and the antenna, and it's ADSB out only. So that's the unit we're going to use. They're pretty reliable, and not Bendix King, which is what I bought, which now I have to buy the antenna, which I already have, and buy the black box for the GPS system, and that's going to be another $1,500 over what I paid.
You gonna up the rates on the planes, for these airplanes in them?
Eventually, probably we're going to end up increasing rates slightly. Depends on how much we can get depreciated off of that. So So, I mean, eventually as time goes on, yeah, as costs go up, we're gonna have to increase them, but we're really at a decent price right now. We're kinda holding our own. They'd like to see us increase, but I'm not sure how much more we can increase in some airplanes and not in others. Okay?
Got a question, for the inn, it's gonna be on the PIC to actually have their own unit? Cause you mentioned it's only gonna be, ADSB out.
That's right. The end requires a GPS,
So the
and
PIC
it
has to have
requires,
their own.
it requires,
unit.
another unit, so that you can see it on the screen,
Okay.
which is gonna be a glass cockpit, and we can't afford that. So the only requirement we have right now is ADSB out. That's what we're gonna comply with. If you want in, then I suggest you buy an iPad and use the Stratus system with ForeFlight, and you'll be able to pick up all the in and the out in regards to that. Okay, maintenance. I'm gonna talk about oil containers and trash in our barrel out by the Connex. We're dumping oil in the aircraft for aircraft use. There's two things. We're not marking it down on the gas sheet, and it appears that in some cases we are not marking it down on our invoices. But when I pull out a container of oil and I still got a half inch to an inch of oil in the bottom of the quart, that's waste. That's actually costing the club, and it's costing you, because it's an expense against the aircraft itself and the club. So when you drain it, we do have a funnel out there, especially on the 182 or on 5.7, because 5.7's oil input is sitting right in the center of the cowling. So you really need a funnel, and it's pretty hard to pour in there. With the T41As, if you use the funnel, you won't spill it and get it on the belly. We're gonna have to start cleaning these airplanes. We just had individual go out and scrub these suckers clean with rag, and we're using goop and a few other things. He spent all day cleaning 2 airplanes. We give him 30 minutes of flight time, but he enjoyed it. So we gotta start keeping them cleaner. And the only way to keep them cleaner is to use the funnel when you're putting the oil in the engine, especially in the T41As, because it's inside the cowling. Please work on that. Try and let that oil the oil can or the oil bottle itself drain most of the oil out before you throw it in the tub.